Sweat Equity Podcast. Do we have a mammoth of an episode with Sam Tripoli from Tinfoil Hat Podcast? Oh my God.
Oh man, you got
Eric Reginger, are you so fired up?
I have so many things to Google right now.
Now, typically we're a business comedy podcast, but Sam's dropping a lot of knowledge from a lot of things that do hit you, the economy, will hit businesses. For this episode, it's sponsored by who better than ExpressVPN?
Jesuit.
Try expressvpn.com you'll get that joke later. Try expressvpn.com/sweat. Get 3 months free off an annual plan. What better apropos sponsor to this episode than an anonymous browsing app that doesn't take away a lot of speed. VPNs, a lot of them are very slow. Try expressvpn.com/sweat, like Key Sweat. Get you 3 months free. You can pick the country you want your IP from. Protect your browsing history. You don't know how many things are on your browser history.
Maybe use the German IP.
Yeah. So you don't want to. you don't want Chinese bots getting it. Russian bots. Try expressvpn.com/sweat. Get 3 months free off an annual plan on us, and it helps the show. Other 4 sponsors I'm going to go through real quickly. Fitnesswear, tryroan.com/sweat, 20% off using the link or using the promo code BRIDGE20. Grasshopper business phone line. Don't be a jabroni with a Google voice. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. Get 75 bones off your annual plan. FreshBooks. Get direct deposit the next day. Better than Zero with an X and better than QuickBooks. Go freshbooks.com/sweat. Get you a 30-day free trial. And Warby Parker. Be a disruptor with the warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. Don't pay $400 at LensCrafters for your prescription sunglasses, eyeglasswear. Go to warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. Get that free 5 pairs to try on home. My brain is going to explode. Welcome, Sam Tripoli. Hotty toddy!
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity? Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. Sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
Fight night while we're watching.
There you
We're
go.
talking sweat equity.
Yeah, man. Welcome back.
It's good to be here, dude.
Eric's
It's been a
here.
while, brother.
Eric's here with
It's been a
me.
while.
If you remember my co-host that looks like a neo-Nazi.
Sam, how's it going on the dark web, man?
I now only do shows with neo-Nazis.
Okay,
Dude,
not
you
in that.
did you I was trying to do, some producing pre-pro, some real show research. By the way, anybody in Spokane, Tacoma, or Chicago, you got shows coming up.
Chicago's, dude, I mean, Chicago just hit us up. They're like, yeah, we don't think we're opening again. I'm like, damn,
Oh, really?
cold-blooded. Yeah.
Is it the set?
Chicago is just shish kebab, bro. Just straight foo bar, dude. Foo bar.
Are we getting political right away? Is it political?
No, but it's just like, I mean, have you ever done stand-up in Chicago?
No.
I've done Zanies, but
They're like super politically correct. I'm like, how is your town with Ditka and the mob and all that stuff politically correct? How do you worry about jokes when you're like 3 miles from Chirac? It's exactly what is wrong with that. Okay. So Chicago's fine. And then they got a mayor. I call her Five Head because she got a forehead plus an extra floor. So I call her Five Head.
Mhm.
And she's just a garbage person.
I find
But
that
besides
offensive.
how's Tampa?
Tampa's hot, and I find the 5-head comment an attack on me.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah, fellow Five Head. Sorry, dude.
it's all good. It's all good. I go more. I have a horse forehead. I've got a Peyton Manning, kind of.
Yeah, you got a football.
It's
head.
long. Yeah, it's oblong. It's like Hey Arnold, but the other way.
Yeah.
You got that strong, like, George Washington shit.
Well, yeah, I got the Jay Leno chin. That's saving me. That's helping. But
Squeezed in a vice look.
yeah. All the features are all close together like Pangea. But
One of
Ew.
my daughters has a large skull for her size.
oh,
which I
dude,
mean,
your kids are like a month old,
really
right?
good on television.
How old are they?
They're about 4.5 months old.
Oh, Sam, I'm gonna tell you right now. You need to obsess over that big time. You should be thinking about that all the time and worried about it and worried about the percentages that they're measuring up to other kids and all that. Definitely be thinking a lot about that.
Well, by the time they get to a certain age, all society will have crumbled. All the parents will be dead. So
Touche. Okay, good point.
Just as soon as they can walk, it's Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu. That's it.
Well, I'm having a flashback. The first time I saw Tripoli was at the Hollywood Improv in like 2008, and he just got up and goes, "Fucking world's fucked," and just fucking murdered for like 20 minutes or something. And I was like, this guy, I got to meet this guy. But what's it called? First off, I was looking at your YouTube page. Congrats on over 100,000 subscribers for Tinfoil Hat.
Thank you, dude. They did everything they could to stop it. It's so funny. I have a friend of mine who has a much more in-depth research version of my show. Like she doesn't have a podcast. She just does like really deep researches on different deep dives on different conspiracies. And I went to her page. She said, "Check out my new video," and it unsubscribed me, and that's what they do. They unsubscribe everybody.
What?
All the time.
Whoa.
All the time. So a buddy of mine who kind of is the inspiration for me. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. You're good.
Okay. He's kind of the inspiration for me to start my YouTube, which is a friend of mine named Jordan Lee. He goes by Jordan the Lion, and his stories like I know YouTube and Google is like international, but he's such an American success story. Like his whole story is that like he was in LA trying to get acting gigs. And he's getting little things here and there. Like everybody, just this town gives you enough not to leave. But next thing you know, you're like 70, and you're like, "What happened to my life?" And
Yeah.
So he was, so he was. One day he's on YouTube, and the lead singer of his favorite band. And by the way, this little story I told Theo Vaughn, and he went and started his own YouTube channel. And like 3 months later, called me, he's like, "Buddy, you changed my life, man." And,
I kind of want to comfort some in now.
Yeah. So my buddy Jordan's watching this YouTube. The lead singer of his favorite band just celebrated 100,000 subscribers, and he did a video on how he did it. So my buddy watched it, and this guy says it took him a year to get 100 subscribers. I don't believe that at all. But and that all he did was put little videos up, and so my buddy's like, "I'm gonna do it." So my buddy decides to do like a kind of travel vlog where he go all over LA and show people cool sites that they can't see. That was about 4 years ago. Now my buddy has 150,000 subscribers, and he travels the world, paid for back when you could travel the world, paid for by his fans and his sponsors. And the reason I bring that guy up because at one point we were at 60,000. Each, and now he's at 150,000, and I'm at 100,000. They've been unsubscribing me forever. Like I put my specials on my conspiracy channel, and they got hardly any views. So here's the best example of how they've been messing with my channel. The first Alex Jones appearance was 500,000 views. This last one, 70,000.
Yeah, you're getting bogged down. You're not. So one big thing I always want to clarify when people are always talking about this on like podcasts, like getting demonetized doesn't mean you're not up there, and what they're doing though is actively working against you to be found, right? So it's almost like anti-SEO,
Shadow banning.
Right? What's shadow banning? Is a cooler. That's a cooler.
Way cooler term.
Yeah.
You don't know you're banned, but your fans can't find you. Like the other day, I was trying to tag myself in a post on my other podcast channel. Instagram. I was on my podcast Instagram trying to tag my personal account on there, and it wouldn't let me find it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not showing. I've heard other comics have this issue because they'll post, clips. A lot of people, I could see it in the quarantine. They're like, well, if I'm not getting out there, I should just revive old clips and put them out there on Instagram. But I've heard on a lot of podcasts that I listen to as a comedy nerd still is like, there's a lot of people that are like, I can't. I think I'm shadow banned because like you can't find me in search. Like I've picked up friends' phones and I can't even find myself.
Yeah, it's very interesting that it's like there's two comics out there, Sam Morril and Mark Norman,
both are
and
awesome.
Brett Burns
Yeah,
all put out specials and they got 1 million views.
Yep.
And God bless them.
Yeah.
I put out a special. I got 50,000. Now I'm not saying I'm better than anybody or nobody or. Those guys are all great writers. I'm not saying that I'm in my league, I'm in their league, or I'm not in their league. It's not about that. But it's just like everybody knows Josh Wolf. They all put out specials, 1 million views. And mine got 50,000.
Right. And it's just not showing up in the right hand if you're on desktop. It's not showing in the next, if you like this, you'll like this. It's not showing up right after someone watches maybe like a Mark Norman clip, and it's not showing up in the next thing.
So, Sam, there's no communication between you and YouTube or Twitter or any of the places you've been banned. They just shut you down.
In 1 week, all 4 of the major tech companies all effed with me in 1 week.
Bro, that's badass.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, that's why my name on Twitter. They got rid of my 11-year-old Twitter is gone.
Yeah, wow.
Gone, and they won't even let me. They won't even tell me why it's gone. They won't even
because you like the Raiders.
Let me get it back. They like, nope, that one's gone for good. And I don't want to call all my powerful friends again because I'm just like, you know what? Why am I doing this? Like, Twitter is now a cesspool of stupid political comments. Like, Twitter's where you go when you want to hear political analysis from nobody's done any real analysis. That's what you want. You know what I'm saying?
You want your
like,
echo chamber.
Yeah.
Tell me what I want to hear, baby.
Take on this thing, and I'm kind of over it. So, like, Ari Shaffir just took his down. You know.
So brave.
But why? Because
so brave.
He makes so many, like, when someone dies, he does that thing where he makes a joke about it. Is it because he got a lot of shit for Kobe, but
no, and that's 100% accurate. But he's like, I was putting out tweets and it wasn't getting any reach. Nobody's, so he's like, they just shadow banned me. So that's the whole reason to have Twitter is to put out your dates. So he just got rid of it. And plus, my engagement on Instagram is 10 times better than my engagement on Twitter.
Yeah, and I think if I have an overall gist for anybody listening of like any kind of marketing, if you really rely on one platform too much, it can be stripped away. And for reasons that even if you're just a pizza business that relies on a Facebook page too much 10 years ago and you don't have a website and you don't focus on any other shit, like it's like diversifying a portfolio. You have to like in the marketing world for comedians or influencers or people that brand themselves or entertainers online, whatever you want to call it, like you always have to have, like, a lot of people can get famous through one platform and then it gets taken away for no reason. They don't have to tell you anything because it's a private company.
And you probably signed up for free.
That's what they say, but the truth is that they aren't private entities. It's so interesting. The libertarian movement has really blown up lately. But just like any political party, the base is great, but the leaders are corrupt. And and the Libertarian Party is exactly the same thing. And it's because what they focus on lets you know what they're really thinking. And a great example of that is like when they talk about, one-payer healthcare, and I'm not a one-payer healthcare person. I am for a free market, which we don't have. But they focus on that, like, oh, dude, if you had a one-payer, businesses couldn't compete, blah, blah, blah. And they focus on healthcare. But what they don't tell you, and I don't know why they don't do it, if they were just a real party, they would go, social medias are basically ran by the U.S., by the CIA. They're funded through
There
the
we go.
government.
Yes.
And
Now let's get to the good shit.
That's why nobody can compete with them. And they don't. They when YouTube decide to make it impossible to find conspiracy videos, there was literally there's articles out there saying they lost $80 billion. What company that is trying to actually be a real company would continue a business decision that cost them $80 billion? The answer is it's not a business. It is an arm of the government. And they created it to be able to basically get their message across, and it got away from them, and now they're trying to control it. And that's just the truth. And it goes the other way too. Like if you say something they really like, they overinflate your numbers, and you actually think you're onto something, or people like you. And it's just they create this false sense of importance with these people who do these social media bullshit. Like, dude, it's like you'll see a company, you'll see somebody with a verified Twitter account that's on some super progressive left wing, news site that you never heard of, who has the same a number of followers as a Tom Segura or a Bert Kreischer. And you're like, what? I've never even heard of that. But they're on with the Mount Rushmore of what we do. It's all psychological BS, and that's why you gotta get away from it.
Well, and they're not even, speaking of psychological, it's not even conspiracy anymore, that they really dig deep into what's going to keep you in the rabbit hole within their platform, right? And one thing I get nervous about, really, and it's not even conspiracy either, is so if Google owns 94% of all search engine searches in the world, or at least in the United States, I can tout that stat.
Each country.
Number two is YouTube.
Kind of its own thing. It's
Yeah, but so number 2 though, search engine is YouTube. So
they got both. So they got
right. And number 3 is Google Image.
Right.
Did you know that?
Well,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but I mean,
the fact that they even made this list is laughable to me.
They're all the same company. That's what's hilarious.
It's just the market share of what people would use. It was like, I looked the study up. It was like, what is the first thing people go to look up, to search first?
Well, it's if people are looking for either just text of something, or a video of something, or image of something. I'm a Pinterest boy. That's what I want. Give me some mom products all day. Yeah. You'll be on Pinterest in no time. You make fun of it, Sam.
About that. Well, dude, it's like for me, dude, a big thing on my podcast that I want to do is I'm starting a new spiritual podcast, and that's going to be part of what I want to talk about. Is just you don't have to be in LA. You don't have to be a stand-up comic or an entertainer to try to build a business on the internet. I think the internet, YouTube, wherever, Etsy, Pinterest, all these different places, these are new marketplaces for you to build your thing. Those are the new main streets.
Yeah.
And when people need to understand that, it's and it's going to be work, man. I'm trying my hardest just to get a couple people that I really love to understand, to not look at YouTube as a dork thing, or not look at, the internet as just some super tech thing they can't understand, and try to start building their business there. Because, I had to give a shout out to Dane Cook a couple of weeks ago, even though he's done things to me that drives me nuts. But,
I saw it. I agree with it. I like Dane. I like what Dane did, and I feel like Andrew Schultz is in that zone now to kind of swim in his wake a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Schultz is probably what I mean. If Andrew Schultz is a more independent version of Joe Rogan, meaning, yeah, Schultz had like Guy Code, right? That was great.
Yeah.
But that was years ago. He doesn't really have like a UFC that like Joe did. Like Joe is the perfect storm, the perfect time, perfect storm of this new medium just starting to open up and being the John Madden of this new exciting sport. Kind of just all came together. And on top of that, having a black belt in almost everything, which is including talking, So, and what started out with him being in Red Band's house, talking to his comic friends, has now been like him being at the center of like culture almost.
Well,
And,
you said it to me like 5 years ago. I think when we're doing a road gig, you're like, he's the new Johnny Carson, and it was like, oh shit, you're right. You're clear.
Yeah.
You can move units of whatever book or whatever you're selling, because he curates the guests like in a legit way.
He's
like,
the number one stop if
Yeah.
you're trying to promote something.
Spotify's stock went up, I think, 10 points the day he signed the. And here's
Should.
what's
Good
interesting
move.
about that. It's not like Bill Simmons' deal where they bought all the entities. It's a licensing deal. So they're only leasing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for him, man.
That is a
awesome.
very.
there's no way Joe would give up any of that.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's a good lesson. If the goods you got or have value, right? You just kind of, it's hard because you have to, especially comedians, we'll overanalyze a lot, and then and part of being a comic is making impulsive decisions a lot of the time. And that's why you have shit to talk about a lot. Like I have all these crazy thoughts. I need to get these out. Or I did this crazy thing that was insane. Let me talk about
Let's
it.
have some positive come out of this.
But I'm saying like that to keep your like to know your value and keep yourself kind of organized, to go, I know this is worth it, and to not give it up. I just heard him. To speak of Rogan, I just heard his podcast with Burr. I think he was talking about like people trying to hit him up for 50%, and just to get exposure. He wouldn't name what station or if it was Sirius or whatever, but it was like he's like, you fucking stick to your guns. At that point, it's pretty big, but at the same time, to not make a deal just to make a deal, Hey, if
Well,
you
a
make,
lot of people take the quick cash, but I also think this is, it's so interesting that story of Joe. And I haven't talked to Joe about Spotify. I literally talked to him like a day or two before he announced it, or the day before, and he didn't even tell me he was announcing it. But he called to find out what's going on with me, with all the, just being fucked by Apple, Google, Twitter, and Facebook all in 1 week. All in 1 week, they all just jacked me, right? And so he decided to hit me up, and it's very interesting because it was right after I did this episode on this family called the Pesar family. You see, the Pesar family, and they're old French nobility that there is an argument that they basically own the entire country. And then someone sent me an Instagram from a Pesar that said, anybody who exposes my business is in trouble. I'm like, damn.
whoa.
Yeah, so, and nobody knows about it. It's like so insane. But, so he called me the day before, and we were talking, and, he's expressed this on his podcast since, but, it's like he didn't like how that lady who runs everything was deciding, like, that what doctors are saying should not be heard. He was very upset about that.
Yeah.
And
You're closing off the conversation. Look, people can have the First Amendment and free speech. A lot of people think you should curve it, and it's like no. If you believe in a free market, or you believe in markets, or believe in kind of how we're set up, if it's an unpopular opinion, look at Kramer. Like he's fucking done.
Yeah,
right?
well, no, I mean any of the anti-protest stuff. It's like, hey, that is exactly what it is to be American. To be able to protest, to take that away is it's the easiest indicator that you're anti-American, like the people that are against any sort of kneeling or whatever, anything like that.
Censoring criticism of the Chinese government. To me, that is I mean, dude, like, we have a real globalist problem here. I know it's a different podcast, but
No, I mean, I agree with you. Is there anything worse?
Because all this kind of stuff affects what we're doing, all of us, and so, I mean, I'm not huge on, like, the fact that Zoom and TikTok are very Chinese operated does kind of scare me, in a way.
Well, now, how about this? At the fact that Zoom just came in out of nowhere, like. Do you know how hard it is?
I
don't know. We were pretty hard on Zoom before that.
They've been a player for a while, but to become to be bigger than Skype the way it did.
Dude. To basically come in and supplant Skype as the main thing everybody's using. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like Skype. I think even though
you love Bill Gates,
who own it is like Steve Ballmer, who happens to be a member of the Committee of 300, but that's a different story. But so I mean, I love Steve Ballmer. I'm a Clipper fan, so I'll never criticize him on that. But the fact that they came in and just supplanted them as like the brand, like, you no longer are hey, you want Skype? It's like, dude, you want Zoom? You know how hard that is to do? It's like TiVo, right? Back in the day, you would say, hey, man, did you TiVo that? But then they just jacked their technology, and cable companies just gave you the right to DVR. Nobody DVRs anymore. But that's the time. Like, I know that Zoom has been around, but, I mean, we're talking, like, out of nowhere, everybody was Zooming. Everybody that is Zooming, and nobody's Skyping anymore. If someone goes, hey, you want Skype? And you're like, what do you use? From the 1800s? You know?
Well,
like, that's kind of, in my opinion.
Sick burn. What? You got a pigeon with a letter in it? Come on.
Yeah, right.
Carrier pigeon.
This shit?
Well, my thing with like Snapchat, what I didn't like about it, didn't want to get on there, was I didn't like all the augmented reality stuff that all these chicks put fucking Bambi like freckles and.
You just couldn't perform in time.
No.
I only have so much time, and you fuck it up.
Well, the other part was you had to like direct message basically everybody, and like fuck that. But I'm saying like that's too much work, I feel like. But what I didn't like and what you think about with all right, how about this? Those memes that are like, what's your porn star name? That's trying to get the recovery password questions from you. You know, like online.
Right.
I feel like a lot of the face stuff, face swap, face stuff, any augmented reality thing that catches on, that's fun. TikTok maybe. I feel like there's a lot of facial recognition, and we talked about it. I made this joke a lot on this show.
Every stripper's face.
How do you do Face ID in China? I don't know. I've done that joke every episode.
My joke. Oh yeah, dude. I have a joke about their technology is so advanced they can tell one Chinese person from another. That's how advanced their facial recognition stuff is. Because I got a whole conspiracy.
It's that Elon Musk, like we're all cyborg shit.
Well, dude, you want to hear something really crazy? So, you know, we've had some people, talking about the phases of this kind of coup that's going on. You know, phase one was the virus, and they did all this crazy shit that made no sense. Like, we're going to release, like, rapists and murderers. You're like, what about the people in for weed? Nah, they got to stay. But the rapists and murderers, we can't help. They can't get COVID. We got to let them go. You're like, that doesn't make sense until you realize, they knew that the riots were coming. And it was just a matter of time when the riots were coming. Now they got all these scumbags out for some kind of like, purge type thing. The face masks. You got to wear your mask so nobody gets sick. And then you realize, Antifa has masks. It's like, it's all set. Now, the next phase, or I don't know if it's phase 3. It could be phase 4. Phase 3 could be a return to everybody scared of the virus, right?
Wait, aren't phases by state, or we have federal phases too?
we're saying on a national
This
level.
is
what
the
these-
Illuminati's not telling us the exact
confused.
phases.
Okay.
This is a projection of the
Oh.
phases by Sam.
Like, if you're doing a raging war, phase 1 of the war is, attack. Phase 2 is come around through the back, whatever.
Pillage.
So phase 1
Anal.
of
Rape.
this war against the United States and
Not
its
me.
economy. I know it's all over the place, but I really do believe this is about the United States.
Well,
And
look at the Russian bot stuff. If we want to bring it back to like social media, all that was doing in the last election was just to really implode, and you kind of really don't know exactly how that was going
to that. But it's like that. Most of those Russian stuff came out in states he was going to win, and most of them were after election. But back this thing.
Was
we
it?
had the virus. We had the riots. The third one may be another virus that we're all like stay inside, and then the next one will be something called Project Bluebeam, and that is fake alien attack or fake Jesus. And you're like, come on. Dude.
Wait, which one though?
Yeah.
That is a big swing. I guess they're both coming from the sky.
I never thought about it.
Satellite system is about, man. He's putting all these satellites up. He's setting basically an AV unit for the world, dude.
Now I'm thinking we should have talked in the morning. I'm scared. I'm gonna be like fucking frightened to pass out tonight. What is Jesus bigger than aliens? How do we?
Well, there's also
Is
I
Jesus
did this whole thing
aliens?
with Bob on my Patreon. I have a Patreon called patreon.com/tinfoil hat, and I do something called Daily Doses where I take like the big story of the day and I kind of break down, what my opinion of it. And he was breaking down the different phases of what's called Project Bluebeam. And what will happen is like each region of the world, their Messiah will come. So Jesus will be here, Buddha will be there, Muhammad would be there, all these different places. And then what will happen is they'll form Voltron.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping for that.
Okay. So like
Are they taking auditions for our region
like
here?
Power Rangers when all the
That'd be
things
great.
combine.
Voltron is
Watch
like,
Jesus. Well, we're like, no.
you got
And then
Buddha
there's
as the left
debates about
leg.
What would
You got
Jesus be? What Jesus would come down? Some people like EDM, Club Jesus. Other
he'd be
people
in there
like
for
Death
sure.
Metal Jesus, like Kung Fu Ninja Jesus. But at the end, Death Metal Jesus was the number one Jesus everybody wanted to see.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
He's-
Death Metal Jesus.
I thought Lemmy was Jesus for a while. So
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
what's it called? We haven't even gotten to Epstein's Island,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't want to keep you too long because I know you got cute baby twin girls right next to you.
They're sleeping.
Yeah, but I mean, are they? You're still on like
For now.
the 3-hour clock, like every 3 hours.
4 months, like they do at night now. They start banging it out. They get up here and there, but they can do like a 7 with one wake up.
Well, I'm so happy for you being a dad. I think before we got on, we were talking about just how exhilarating it kind of is. All that stuff comes to fruition.
Yeah, it is. It is everything they tell you. And,
Wait, you put out, so if anybody doesn't follow Tripoli or Tinfoil Hat on Instagram, I mean, a little bit ago you posted a list of everybody that went to Epstein's Island. I thought that was going to get you
Wow.
for sure
Nice.
taken off.
I don't know. I think they're just like, I think that is an acceptable thing to put out. They're like, okay, we're going to give them this. We'll let them go after.
I really thought about it because I was like, well, it's kind of even on both sides if you really broke it down the middle.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, it's two heads of the same snake. It's just the Republican Democrat thing is just theater, dude. And and just right
I
now,
agree with
it's the
that.
Democrats that are in the scope during 9/11. It was the Republicans, and and it's just like at some point people will, it just all becomes identity politics. The way people flip flop on the issues, 2 months ago it was the conservatives who were mad at the cops for enforcing this lockdown. Now they're the ones defending cops, and it's like the truth is, it's like if looters suck and abusive cops suck. If you have that belief, you'll be fine. There's a whole bunch of shit that's about George Floyd that is just shady as shit, and it's so interesting because when Malcolm X and the Unabomber both agree that rich kid liberals are a threat to everybody, that's when you realize you're on to something. And that's really what's behind these riots, are like agent provocateur cops and rich white kids who are showing up to riots in their fucking Mercedes Benz and their Bentleys and with their fucking brand new shoes on. And
Eric hasn't seen the chick. Eric hasn't seen the chick with the drill that faked, like, just to take a picture in front of people boarding up in, like, Santa Monica or wherever. Have you seen that?
Yeah, this is basically a social media influencer riot.
She's a, quote, journalist, too.
I'll have to check it out.
Well, yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on. I guess
anytime, all the time. I'd like to do more.
You're
and
the best.
I wanted to talk to you too. I want to bring me and Eddie out and XG to do a tinfoil hat at probably the Crowbar whenever that opens up. And
it may not open up.
One more. What's that?
It might be done, man. I'm friends with the owner. I see him posting every other day. I mean, like the wave of small business economics, it really hasn't hit yet. In my head, you're going to see a lot of wave of this. Like once any kind of bridge loans that anybody got, or people holding out as much, like I'm just starting to see a lot of like restaurants, bars I like. And that's the stuff I'm paying attention to for like lifestyle, because I like them. Over here, we're seeing them starting to go like, we had to close up. We couldn't hold off anymore. Like these restaurants, look, you could be at 50% occupancy. The numbers don't really make sense to me though. Or 75%, even if they're kind of packed at the rush hour times they're supposed to be, they really have to fill out. If you really think about the time schedule, they'd have to fill out 2 or 3 times the normal rush hour.
Let Sam plan out his fun time at Crowbar, dude.
Him and Eddie Bravo,
Jeez.
Dude, it's super sad, and it's all done on purpose, man. And think about this, guys. Nobody was joining the military, man. They were struggling to get numbers. Now what?
It's marketing, yeah. In a weird way.
What?
Yeah.
There's no options.
Oh, man. If they put a draft in, I'm too dad bod, I think.
They're not gonna put a draft.
I'm kidding.
There's gonna be people just all over the place,
chop off each other's toes,
just trying to join because they need a job. They did this purposely.
Oh, that's an interesting angle.
I
didn't understand that's what you were getting at, but yeah, that's really interesting. They have to join the military because that's all they got.
To get people to join the military.
Wow.
Man.
Okay.
Now there's no job. All these things are just, and it's so sad, man. It's like, if people, this whole riot thing, Black Lives Matter. Listen, man, Black Lives Matter. Of course they do, dude. But nothing's going to happen when you look and you point at poor white people and tell them they're the power structure problem and they're garbage. Dude, Tampa, I'm sure there's some white trash there coming out of the gate, shot out the womb with 3 strikes against themselves. You know what I'm saying? No chance.
Oh, yeah.
And that's my upstate New York. That's where I'm from. And this has been 20 years in the making. And what was done to the black community with crack cocaine is now doing to the suburbs and poor and the trailer parks with heroin. They're destroying the family unit. That's all being done on purpose. It's all being done on purpose, man. And then this riot is getting done. Do you know what the riot was about? Do you know?
No.
So basically what happened was, or why George Floyd and that whole thing happened was, there was a giant counterfeit ring running out of Minnesota. The Chinese government was flooding Minnesota with counterfeit money and it was running through that fucking nightclub, right? And And George Floyd was siphoning off money. We're talking about a guy who put a gun to a pregnant woman's gut, okay?
Whoa.
Doesn't deserve to die, but let's just talk about who this guy is.
Never
Puts a gun to his gut, this woman's gut, okay? Did hard time for robbery, all right? I'm a scumbag. I've done some stuff, but I've never put a gun to a pregnant woman's gut, okay?
You internalize your scumbag.
What?
You internalize your scumbaggery.
Well, I'm a scumbag with a heart of gold, okay? That's kind of who I am. But
And you'll bang everybody.
Put that gun on the inside.
I know Sam to bang anybody and everybody, all creeds, religions, whatever.
Yeah,
colors.
dude, you know what I'm saying? You can't have filet mignon all the time. Sometimes you got to eat a Big Mac once in a while. But
Some shank steak.
Fat Irishman.
The
what
flank
happened was
steak.
this guy he jacked some of these counterfeit cash, and he was spending it.
Yeah.
And they found out, and that's why they had to do it. And that's why all this shit doesn't make any sense. And then he was on a fucking goofball. I didn't even know this was something. Do you know what a goofball is?
Oh,
I didn't know that was
I thought
real.
you were going old school, like my.
You're
dad.
all hopped up on goofballs.
Yeah.
No, goofball is speed and fentanyl. That's what they call
Oh, that's hard fucking core, huh?
Yeah, I heard.
Dude,
Whoa.
I heard something that they might have found that in his system. I also heard that the guy that
Tested positive for goofballs.
the white he had goofballs. in
Everybody
his
be
system.
quiet. I have something serious to say.
What are you in prison for?
Positive.
Selling goofballs?
For goofballs.
Yeah. Right?
Hey man, I had 3 goofballs up my ass to get in here in prison. I gotta flip.
What are
these
you in
things.
for? I sold 400
I'm the
goofballs.
Maria full of grace of goofballs.
Elementary school.
What? So, and then I heard that the 2 guys in the incident, the kneeler and the guy and Floyd that died, they worked together at a nightclub before this, so they
What happened
they
was
knew each
that
other.
Oh,
supposedly the
whoa.
word
That's what I just
didn't know
was
that.
a cop, but his neighbors said they never heard he was a cop ever. He was a hitman, dude.
Oh,
This was a
what?
hit.
I haven't
This
heard
was a
that.
Yeah, dude, his neighbors like, we didn't know he's cops. He lived there forever. We thought he was a realtor.
And then I thought,
Whoa,
I love.
what?
Yeah, it doesn't explain why he has such a hot wife.
And how he lives.
Did you see his wife?
No.
She
Nah,
was Miss Minnesota.
you're throwing too much at me.
Yeah, she's hot, really hot, Miss Minnesota.
We just live in the Matrix. Let's all get over it.
Yeah, I feel like my brain
It's all too perfect.
is visualized. All the tangents we just went on, I feel like Sam's brain just unleashed like True Detective, a wall with like yarn and like everything.
I do feel
is
like
connected
Sam
to-
sets me back a couple weeks
on my progress of any sort of projects I had going on and all that.
I'm gonna be researching Reddit.
I got some stuff to check out via Sam.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. Well, I won't keep you because I think our brains might explode over here.
All right, sorry about that.
No.
I got a lot of
no,
research
it's
to
great.
do now. Great. Yeah.
But we
Project Bluebeam.
look at we have the transcripts done with an integration with Zoom. Sometimes
Maybe not this one.
No, this one for sure.
Maybe not this one,
'Cause
so
the
that
keywords-
the CIA doesn't come at us.
Look, Bert called us in the middle of a podcast last time, and it jumped our SEO like 5,000 people.
Yeah.
just because we put Bert's name in the title. But what's it called?
Dude, I'll bring you about tens of people, dude,
No.
so get ready for a flood.
The transcript of all the keywords of everything we just said. I'm very curious what'll
I can't
pull
wait.
over. And that's another thing. If you give you a little help, if you guys aren't doing transcripts of your episodes, we use Otter.ai. You can just drop the files in, and it'll eventually, if you can kind of correct it a little bit. But if you post the transcripts on your website, it's going to help your SEO a lot.
Dude, you just speak Chinese. Just spoke Chinese
Tran-
to me.
Think of the transcript of the episode. You can just drop the audio file in this thing called Otter.ai, and then if with every episode you just post it, we don't even edit ours. You can go on Sweat Equity Pod and look at it. It over time, if you do that, it'll bring in a lot of people because it's just keywords playing the Google game.
Okay, send me an.
We'll hit you up after.
I'll
Say
send-
we'll
Look
just
at
do
it.
it
I mean,
for
I'm
you.
gonna text you right after.
We'll just do it.
But hey, tell everybody if they want daily conspiracy news, go to patreon.com/tinfoilhat. And if you guys get a chance, I have a new spiritual show coming out called Zero, which is the art of zero, which is like to getting away from ego and desire and all that stuff that comes with just spirituality.
Love
that
it.
will be available on this new kind of cool website called rockfin.com. That's ROKFIN.com. And the reason, and I think they're onto something because I think they want to be like the Netflix of paywall premium service where you pay one monthly fee and you get all this premium content from your favorite
ROK,
provider.
no C.
Oh, ROK.
He's looking it up. He's Googling it.
ROKFIN.com.
Oh, monetize your content. Yeah, we'll look into this for sure. What's it called? Thanks for coming on. And what's the Fight Club quote? Sooner or later, we all go back to zero. Huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a very Jewish thing for an Armenian. You and Mark Garagos, my two favorite Armenians out there, putting it out.
Dude, I once got busted buying drugs off a hooker one time, and he was my lawyer for free because I do a giant Armenian benefit every year, and he's on the board, and he represented me, and it was just a very interesting thing because it just literally lets you know how, like, if you're poor, the legal system is just going to F you.
No, he says it on his podcast with Corolla, for sure. Like, he'll say it, and he knows, like, he's in the middle of it.
So I got busted buying, I'd gotten sober, and I decided to go out one time, so I looked for drugs, and the only one out there was a hooker who may or may not have been a woman, and
That doesn't
count at
that
the time.
doesn't if you don't know for sure. Whatever you want it to be, man.
I mean, I know for sure, but
No, yeah, I didn't have to say that. You could have just gone
We're
with you don't
open-minded.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Well, you're from dirty Tampa. You know what I say about Tampa. Tampa is the scumbag Vegas.
Yeah.
I just remember you got up and you were like, "You girls are thirsty as fuck," and they're like, "Yeah."
Dude, Tampa is definitely one of the places I always think about moving to. It's like, out of here.
Anytime, bro.
Tampa,
We'll all be
Houston,
neighbors. Bring it.
Dallas. Those are but anyways, so I do this thing. I get pulled over. It was very funny because I was buying a small amount, and I was obviously getting ripped off. Man, obviously getting ripped off. And the cop couldn't find it at first, and then he found it in my wallet. And I'm like, God dang it. And he's like, how much you paid for this? I'm like, 40. He's like, what? And he started laughing, and the hooker started laughing too. They both started laughing. But, so when I went to court, my lawyer wanted to, I forget the legal term for it, but she wanted to see his records. And when the next court date, the police union showed up and said they would not release the records and they want the case dropped. I'm like, damn, I got a shady cop here.
Whoa.
Oh, interesting.
Man. But Armenians are tight. I wanted to be like a fruit fly around the Armenian community. I want the gay mafia just to.
Yeah,
you definitely want to be on their good
like
side.
I want them to make me a tastemaker. The gays. I just want to be in.
Yeah.
I want to be in with the
You're not.
Cubans in Armenia. I know.
You will
I know.
never make it as a tastemaker, you fucking idiot.
I know. I don't wear.
Talking
Hey, do you
about
think they're going to have
tastemaker.
football? I know you want to hang up with me. Do you think
No,
they're gonna
no.
have football?
No,
Dude, we'll talk to you
He's
for a
being
while.
polite.
I
We'll
just- I
sit
don't-
here all night, bro.
I just don't. I can hear your kids cooing.
Yeah, let them cool.
They're in a coup.
They're in a coup.
These
You guys are
babies.
born in a coup.
Alex Jones here. These babies are in a coup. I hear they're cooing. They're coup.
He's the best. Everybody hates that guy.
I love that guy.
He's so classy.
He's
dude. I
awesome.
know people think I'm crazy. Bought lunch for us both times. Came on my podcast. I used to just talk about Israel because I knew it pissed him off. But, he's such a nice guy, dude. And he gets so much crap because they had this one dude on who talked about Sandy Hook. And
Yeah.
if you actually looked at this guy's credentials, you would understand he's an expert in what he's talking about, but nobody wants to hear it. But that story will be told. But Alex Jones, I've had people stop talking to me because I've had Alex Jones on my show, or I did Alex Jones. And to that, I say, it's like, I guess we weren't that good of friends anyway. But Alex Jones is a class act, dude.
And that's like, you kind of purge the friends anyway. Eric's having mic troubles, but what's it called? You kind of purge those friends anyway. Like, I had someone tell me that I didn't post the black tile on Instagram. I literally
By the way,
thought
that is a black cube of Saturn. That was all a psyop done because Hillary Clinton had a case in court in which they were making her testify whether she's going to have to testify or not. You remember they were like, don't post anything else either. That was all a psyop. It's all black cube of Saturn. That was to show who's brainwashed and who's not.
What?
That'll be in the show notes.
Yeah, that's
good,
another
though.
hour to me being high tonight researching. Wait,
Do I need to?
the black tile for Black Lives Matter that happened 5 days ago on Instagram
Was psyops by Hillary Clinton.
Psyop to cover up for Hillary Clinton had a day in court and then she lost about whether she was going to have to be cross-examined on a later date, which has been set for, I believe, September. And, so she lost that. So that's why they told you, post this and do not post anything else. And that's why that was done. And what you posted was one side of a black cube. Black cube is the oldest of all the religions. There is no Satanism, dude. There's only Saturnism. Satanism is a psyop created by very powerful people to get people not to talk about Saturn worship. Satanism basically took the best of old ancient Hindu knowledge and with the worst of Saturn worship, which is a child sacrifice and all that stuff. The oldest of all the gods is a cat named Kronos. Kronos is he is the god of time, right? And the old myth was that Kronos was told that there was a prophecy that his children would come and slay him. And that's how he would fall out of power. So every time his wife, and I think she might be Venus, but I could be wrong. But every time his wife had a child, Kronos would eat the child and the child would live inside him. Well, one day his wife was going to give birth and she gave birth and snuck the kid away. And that child was Zeus. Zeus came back and slayed Kronos. That is so that's where child sacrifice comes from. Okay. Satanism isn't real. It's made up. That's why fucking dorks who go watch Rocky Horror Picture Show live all the time are Satan worship. They're like lazy anarchists. You know what I'm saying? They are
dorks.
They're all in a band in the AV unit in the fucking high school. That's who Satan worshipers are.
Oh yeah,
right?
That's
so they
true.
took the whole thing about Satanism is that you are your own god. That is an ancient Hindu thing, that we live in a realm where we are mortal gods here to learn the laws and the lessons of the universe to become immortal gods. They took that and they took all the dark shit from Saturn worship and they created Satanism. It's not real. Saturn worship is what it's all about. All the greats at the highest level worship it. It is basically out of the Vatican. The Jesuits push it, okay? The Jesuits are basically dark arts, black nobility people.
I went to a Jesuit school. Shit!
And prepare to fucking have your head
TC
explode.
Crusaders.
The world is not ran by Jews. It's ran by Jesuits. Jews are middle management.
God damn Ignatius
right.
Loyola. Fucking Spaniard dick.
Yeah.
Bert and I went to a Jesuit high school, bro. We're fucked.
Do you know there's 3 popes?
What? No. I didn't think we were going to get
How
religious.
many popes do you think there were?
Ever?
I don't know.
Like in
No.
10, 20?
like
the time.
or currently
Right now?
active?
Well, you've
No.
got
How many positions of the pope do you think there are?
What do you mean? One.
Like 1. No, there's 3. There's white pope, black pope, gray pope. And gray pope is the head of both.
So what?
elaborate.
Are there 2 little popes on his shoulder? The white and black one?
No, maybe that's how it is. The black pope runs the Jesuits, and the Jesuits run everything.
God, I knew that high school was fucked that I went to.
Oh, yeah, dude. Bill
I
Gates,
have
his
so many
wife,
questions.
Trump's kids, They all Jesuits, dude.
You
They're
can't get
all
married
Jesuits,
if
dude.
you're a father or a brother was the worst. If you ever had a brother at a Catholic, you're like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah.
You're not good enough to be a father.
Right.
So
Where's the
Take
commitment?
a look at this, dude. So if you look at all of your intelligence services, CIA, Mossad, MI5 or MI6, whatever England's is, they're all Jesuit ran. Okay, because like the CIA was started basically by Nazis. Okay, we had the OSS, right, but that kind of faltered, and then once World War II ended, they kind of had a Nazi expansion draft where Russia, the United States, drafted their favorite Nazis, right? And we got a couple Nazis. You want to hear a funny joke?
You're gonna go play for Jacksonville.
You take a supplemental pick.
You want to hear a funny joke?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, a Nazi, a pedophile, a Scientologist, and a Satanist walk into a bar. What do they do?
Sweet Jesus.
I know the punchline.
They all sit at the same bar stool.
No, they invented NASA.
Yeah.
Yep.
Von Braun. Whatever.
Yeah.
Ron Braun,
Warner
Walt
Von Braun.
Disney, L. Ron Hubbard, and Jack Parsons are the inventors, and they created NASA.
Fucking party, dude. Those guys are awesome.
We had
It's
Nazis
sick
coming here. Where did the
parties.
Nazis go when they lost the war? Where did they run to?
Argentina?
The Vatican fucking got into Argentina. So
Maybe the moon.
The Jesuits run, and so all these Nazis here created that. The Jesuits run the CIA. The Jesuits run all these intelligence services. Now, let's take a look at parts of Asia, Europe, Latin America, and North America. What do all those crime organizations have in common? They're all Catholic based. They all have Catholic religion. Remember that?
We're too fucked up to we both looked at each other.
I'm with you. I'm still with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, keep going.
We're
They're all
listening.
Catholic based. So what happened is that Rome didn't fall. It just rebranded itself. They're like, why should we have armies everywhere?
Okay.
We'll
Marketing.
just set up these fucking little franchises called churches, and that's how we're going to run everything.
That was in Batman Begins. When the city gets too big, you got to take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why the CIA, the Jesuits,
Is that Michael
the
Keaton?
Vatican,
The League of
created
Shadows.
The city of. Do you know that there's three places in the world that pay no taxes, follow no laws?
Vatican.
Vatican City.
Vatican,
Florida.
City of London, and the UN. Now the DC, you can throw DC in there, but they do play the game. They pay taxes.
Yeah.
But they're not technically part of the United States.
Never
right?
understood DC. but
Right.
yeah,
What
yeah.
is that? What are you?
They're all owned by, basically, drum roll please,
Jesuits.
the Jesuits.
God
Yeah.
damn
The
it.
Jesuits run everything. City of London, London. It's not London. It's the City of London is a home of banking. So what does the Vatican, the City of London, and the UN all have in common? What do they represent? They represent religion,
Rich white people.
banking, and the military.
Yes.
And they're all ran by the Jesuits. Now, here's the crazy thing. Israel.
Here's
ready
the
for
crazy
this?
thing.
Now to the crazy part.
Israel is basically
Now we're
a
talking.
business deal cloaked in a religious war. Okay? The best way to get people to fight to take over territory is convince people it's about religion. Israel represents a land bridge that is the easiest way to get goods from Asia and Africa to Europe.
Yeah.
The Vatican owns 60% of Israel.
Yeah, because you got them Ural Mountains. Yeah, I know my geography. They get in the way.
There you go.
You can't go north. Is right. You got that Silk Road. You got to go through that way.
Yep.
There
you go.
Yeah.
It's a business transaction cloaked in a religious war.
Man, I still love my Jews. I just want to go.
No, because Jews aren't the problem. Jews are wonderful people. They're being manipulated just like everybody else. It's like Jews. You know, like when I say Jews don't run the world, Jews, they get so angry. Like, what do you mean we don't run the world? Jews really
Come
don't.
on, you know we do.
It's Jesuits, dude. You know, it's like the Jesuits run everything. They run everything, and it's very it's like kind of fucking crazy, dude. Jews are wonderful people. Jewish chicks are number 2 on my super freak big board. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, who's number 1?
Chicks, Jews. Okay, and then the rest.
What was
So,
number
What's
one?
number 1?
Latinas.
Yeah.
Right, obviously.
Right.
and then it's like, you ever watch Israeli soldier twerking videos?
Yeah.
Smoke shows. Smoke shows.
I do like Israeli chicks are hot because they got to go to the army for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, I love
Dude,
it.
you ever take Krav Maga? I fucking love it. I started taking it, dude, and then
Really?
the fucking thing happened. I love Krav Maga is the best. If you can't do jujitsu because, like, I'm just not limber enough, Krav Maga is the best. They're like, this is not martial arts. This is a fighting system. I'm like, hell yeah. They're like, in 5 years, you're going to have black belt and whoop everyone's ass. I'm like, I'm listening. So that's the last of my goals, dude.
I like it.
Things I
Sounds
really
pragmatic.
wanted. I think owning a house is one. But I'm saying I got a sweet place in the Valley in Vegas. I mean, in LA. But I have kids. That was one of my goals. Put out my own special. So now the last thing
On Vimeo.
I got a brown belt in Taekwondo in Jeet Kune Do. I was supposed to take the test. I would have passed, but I went to the senior prom with this chick I thought was gonna bang me, but she ended up leaving me and fucking a 10th grader.
Worth it. Still worth it.
That happened last year?
No, not worth it, dude.
Come on, man.
I totally thought you were talking about in current times. Like you were gonna take like a chick to the prom.
In high school. I was gonna go to the prom.
I know. I didn't. I thought it was like you, like a year ago.
I was right there.
Taking an 18-year-old.
Oh. When you're 18, pussy or brown belt, come on.
I don't know. My head's gonna explode. How many things we just talked about?
Okay, I gotta go.
You're the best. Love you, brother.
You're not hanging up on me. I'm hanging up on you.
Okay, power
Thanks,
move.
dude.
You did the power move.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.